So it appears my camera stopped filming and I'm not sure at what point, so I'm just going to do a quick roundabout. I've probably missed patches and everything, but so yeah, I'm just going to let this take now. Nice. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it looks half alright. If not, I'm working a different colour on top. Okay, so while the colour's taking, if you follow me on any of my social media, you will know that I asked you guys to give me some questions, because this bit is the boring part. Like, this bit's really fun because you get to do what you want and then you have to sit around and wait. So yeah, I've been asking you guys for like a week and a half, something like that, if you had any questions or anything for me. Didn't have to be fibre related, didn't even have to be sensible, to be honest, which some of them, a bit crazy. So yeah, I've basically just written them all down. God, that's the only problem with longer hair, you feel it sticking to you. So yeah, I've just written the questions down and I'm just going to basically answer them because it gives me something to do. So, starting with Kelly Alice Johnson. She put, what do you like best about being a YouTuber? So, I'm fairly new to it all, but I don't know, it sort of helped me get a little bit of my confidence back, because when all this illness started kicking off, I very much kind of shut away, like to an extreme level, and I felt like I'd lost who I was, but by doing these like videos, I feel a little bit more confident again in myself, and I think, yeah, I can actually do it. I've always loved watching YouTube anyway, since it like pretty much came out. Because I suffer really bad with insomnia, so YouTube was normally my best friend. So yeah, I definitely think being part of it is really just quite exciting, and it means I can sort of get my views and opinions and my stupidness out there just a little bit more, and especially when I do like my fibre ones, I feel like I'm helping get everything out there a little bit more, which I feel is really important because it's not known enough. So yeah, thanks for your question. Next question comes from Emily Baker, and she says, would you rather have taste buds on your fingers or your toes? Now, it's weird that I actually have an answer for this, because I've kind of thought about this before. I know that's really stupid, but yeah, I've actually thought about this before. Don't ask why, but yeah. I would much rather have them on my fingers, because here we go, getting to know you just a little bit more. I get really hot feet, and I've always had problems with my feet, so if my taste buds were down there, that would just be disgusting. Like, in terms of your hands, if there was a time, say toilet time, you could wear gloves and stuff so that you didn't have to taste stuff as often. Plus, if you had taste buds on your hands, you could properly just like get stuck in there, and if you didn't really feel like eating that day, you could just slam your hands in your food, and then you're not like eating it and taking it in. Genius. So I would go on my fingers. Next question, Jeff Brooks. What is your favourite Doctor Who episode? Oh, this is tricky because there are quite a few, and for different reasons. So one that I particularly like, but more for like a funny memory, is the Gas, where David Tennant, I think it's David Tennant, it might even be the one that only did one series. I know who I mean, but I'm having a fog, so never mind. Yeah, and there's basically a load of like children walking around with gas masks for face, like asking people if they're their mummy, and my brother used to be terrified of these things, so me and my dad used to think it was hilarious to just hide around the house in the dark and go, "Are you my mummy?" And yeah, so for me that one is like a funny one, but not so much for the episode because it kind of creeped me out too. but one of my personal favourite episodes is the original Weeping Angel episode. It is so creepy and so dark, and it's just like, yes, some of the monsters and things that go after you physically are terrifying, but the fact that these things can strike you when you're not looking, and you know, it's the way my brain works. If I'm anywhere outside or whatever, my brain goes on one all the time. So for me, that just made perfect sense, that if you're like not staring at these things, they're just going to get closer and that's it, you're done. So I'd say that's definitely one of my favourites. Another one which I really quite liked was the Murder on the Orient Express episode, where it was basically the Orient Express gliding through the galaxy, and there was a mummy that basically, if you were about to be killed by it, only you could see it. And I just think things that, you know, if you had to convince someone there's something in the corner and no one else can see it, I just love stuff like that, because there's nothing creepier than when the brain goes off and does its own thing. But super excited about the new series coming out. I'm hoping it's a little bit better than the first one that they've just come out with Peter Capaldi, because it was a little bit hit and miss for me. Some episodes were awesome and other episodes you just kind of, like the Robin Hood episode, if you watch it you'll know what I mean. I wanted to turn it off, but I also couldn't like not watch it but it was dreadful. So yeah, I'm just hoping it's a little bit more consistent this time, but still looking forward to it regardless. So yes, so thank you for your question. Next question, Maisie Neal, if you had to collaborate with any YouTuber, who would it be? Oh, there are so many that I love. Like, I love Nincompoop, but I know I'm not quite up there yet. So that's not going to happen for a long time. I also like It's Black Friday because she is truly beautiful. She's full on gothic princess, and I just think she's awesome. And she's funny as well, and I love her accent. So yeah, either Nincompoop or It's Black Friday. Another one that I'd quite like to get along with is Glam and Gore, just because I'd want her to teach me her magical ways. She's basically a makeup artist. She trained herself and she does some glamorous makeup, but she does a lot of special effects makeup stuff, and it's awesome. And she taught herself completely from scratch. She recently won the NYX Face Awards, because I watch all that as well, because not only am I on YouTube myself, I love watching YouTube things. So yeah, any of those three would be incredible. If I ever make it to that point, I think I would just like die of happiness. Next question, Emma Louise Bullions. Are there any bigger YouTubers with fibro out there? Do you think this would help lessen the stigma of invisible illness? As far as I know, there aren't many. I know of another lady called Fibro Mom, and she's got fibromyalgia, similar sort of channel to mine, and she does a lot of blogging with her kids and things like that, and she's lovely. She's so sweet and gentle, and she's awesome. So if you have fibromyalgia, there's another one you can go and check out. Do I think it would lessen the stigma of an invisible illness? I think eventually, yes, it would, but at the moment, we're just not there. Yeah, it's going to be a while, realistically. I'd like to say yes, because everyone will know about it and they'd stop judging people for it. But, I mean, it's like mental illness, you know, it's taken years and years for people to be less judgmental, and there's still people out there that will look at someone with a mental problem and judge the hell out of them. So yeah, I think we're a long way off yet, but I think it would definitely help towards it a little bit. That's partly my aim. I'm hoping it happens someday. Tom Cryer. Potato or melon? Well, I'm going to go with potato, purely because I have to really, really want melon. I am hoping this is not some, like, you know how you have those questions, you're like, would you be this or that? And you answer and they're like, oh, that means you're a penis. Am I the only one that ever used to do that? I was a dick as a child. But if this is just about actual potato and actual melon, then yeah, I'm going with potato because I absolutely love the stuff. I could have it baked, although I don't like mashed. Mashed is vile, it makes me feel sick. And melon, like I say, I have to really want melon to enjoy it, because if not, it makes me feel a bit ill, to be honest. I also have to be careful with certain fruits because of the tablets I'm on, so that's a whole other video. Brian Maitland, who will win the Labour leadership election? I believe this has already happened since the questions came out, and I feel that the guy that got elected in, the name has gone right now. I can't see it going well, I'll be honest with you. He's got some really old-fashioned ideas that I think could cause a lot of problems, and it could mean that parties like Labour will never ever win if he's left to deal with it. But I'm not particularly into my politics, I'll be honest. What do you think of Caroline Lucas's hairstyle? Now, I looked her up because I had no idea who this person was, and I believe she's from the Green Party. I'm probably wrong, but I think I'm right. She lives in Brighton and she's got short hair. I can't Google because I'm using my phone. But I actually think if it's the right person, I think her hair really suits her. I think it's a nice, sensible, but a little bit stylish and out there. So yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up. Thank you for your random questions. So this one, oh my god, Alicia Ian Julia O'Neill, I hope I said that right. She's put, do you find your fibro flare-ups out? Start again. Do you find your fibro flares up after dyeing your hair? What dye do you recommend? So, yeah, I find I react somewhat when I bleach my hair, but the way I've done it this time around seems to have really helped calm it down a little bit. Obviously I am using pure bleach to, not like toilet bleach, but hair bleach. What I did was 2-3 days before I was going to be doing this, I basically soaked my hair in coconut oil for a couple of hours, then washed it out, and I left argan oil completely soaked in my hair with conditioner, and I've left it for like 2 nights. I've not washed it since, which sounds disgusting, I know, but I basically wanted my hair to get really greasy, but a clean greasy, if that even makes sense. So that as my hair was bleaching, it kind of didn't just go directly onto the hair and kill it straight away. But I have found that in terms of like my scalp, it's not been affected by it this time at all. It did a little while I was bleaching it, but then again it's sucking the colour out of my hair, so it's bound to react somehow. In terms of the colours that I use, I don't have any problems with them, although I would recommend, if you are planning on doing your hair, just do a bit of a patch test, because I've done it with all the colours I use before I stick anything on my head. The XXL range is really good, and you basically just add conditioner to it and just let it soak in. Another really good one is Directions. Again, it's all conditioner based, so it's not sort of attacking your hair, it's basically just soaking in. So I would definitely recommend those two if your head's a little bit more sensitive, but still check them. And the only downside, obviously, with these crazy colours is that some take better than others. So like I've got the turquoise in little spots, and they don't always take quite so well. They take, but they don't particularly last as such. Like, you only have to look at the rain and it'll run off. But yeah, certain colours, like if you're gonna do a colour, blue can be awful to get rid of, but I tend to go for a lot of the bluey pink, so because I've gone for the blue, I know when I'm fed up with that I can move on to a purpley pink, and whichever I've sort of pre-planned ahead a little bit. This one I'm going to keep anonymous. I'm not going to say who did it because I'm not sure if this person wants to be known or not, so I'd rather not give their name. And yeah, because this was directly to my Littlespoon page on Facebook, and it just says, I just wanted to know how you got past the embarrassment of using a walking stick one day and not the next. So yeah, this was a tricky one for me to start with. I really did not want to have to use a walking stick or a wheelchair at all, because I'm only 27 and I didn't particularly want to be sort of classed as, oh my god, what happened to her, she's got a stick. Like, 'cause people do it, they look at you and just try and judge you for it straight away. I've sort of had to lighten up the whole situation myself. So me and my friend, we actually named my stick Susan. So if we're going out anywhere and as I get to the door, my friend will say, Susan coming with us? And I don't know, it might seem stupid, but to me it lightens up, because it's kind of like, come on Susan, going on a road trip, and it's a little bit easier to see past it. And my wheelchair is called Madge. I don't know why we went for those names, but we did. So yeah, I had serious issues with it to start with, and it was just a case of I'd go out without it because I didn't want to be seen with my stick, and then I'd be in absolute agony for days and days, more so than normal. So it was a case of just saying, you know what, I need it, I've got to use this thing. So yeah, it's taken time, I'm better now, it really doesn't bother me. I think if people know me and I have my stick sometimes and I don't, they just kind of take it as, oh, she's obviously not as great today. They're a little bit like less judgmental on whether I have it or not. But certainly in terms of people that you don't know when you're out and about, I just think people are going to look at you and judge you no matter what. So especially me with like this hair, walking stick, they go, what the hell is that all about? So, and then obviously Thumper's just had her hair all shaved off from Brave the Shave. If you watch my update video, you'll know all about it. So obviously Thumper's walking around like bald, and people are looking at her even for that. It doesn't matter whether it's a walking stick or when I go out in my gothy gear, or there will always be people that turn around and stare, because we are all judgmental gits. I'm gonna go with gits. It's just naturally how this world works, I think, and there are days I can handle it better and there are days that I just can't cope with it. So in terms of advice for that one, all I can say is you have to find your own little way to deal with it. So like I say, with me, I've called mine Susan. So if I'm going out, is Susan coming? Yeah, no, Susan's staying at home. For me, that's my way of going, you know what, let's kind of make this a little bit more light-hearted than I'm 27 and I have to go out with a walking stick, because that's just depressing. So yeah, I also, rather than having a very clinical looking walking stick, I ordered a lilac one from Amazon, and I think it was about £12, and I also ordered some pin-up girls like vinyl stickers, and I've just decorated it up so it's a little bit more personal and a little bit more funky. So if people are going to be looking at it, they end up going, oh, where did you get that from? They're a bit more intrigued more where it's from than the fact that I have it, and that's helped a little bit as well. So if you can find a way of jazzing it up a little bit and making it your own, I think that can help as well, because when they're clinical looking, I think, yeah, they just look scary, and that can make people look and go, oh, what's that all about? Yeah, and that is it for questions, guys. I am all out, so thanks for that. And basically, I'm just really pleased how many people actually got in touch and had questions that they wanted to ask me, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, I'm probably going to sit with this on for a little bit longer and wash it off, dry it, style it, do what I need to do, and then I shall show you the finished product. See you next week, guys. Bye.
mama told me one day I'ma grow up big and I'ma be a king. And my papa told me it's okay to say when shit hurts, don't forget your dreams, cause they'll get